to 443-443.
Hey, you're listening to the show, which is all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. I'm thrilled to be joined by my good friend, Dove Snow. Dove, welcome to the program.
Hey, Shalom. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's great to have you. You and I have had many a conversation about this next topic, which I have to say you are a fantastic educator. You've taught me more than I ever expected to know about this term, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I know these are still very, very, very new topics, but you have been way ahead of the curve, and I wanted to talk a little bit about it. And but most importantly, Dove, I'm curious to know, why do you think it's important that we talk about it today? Where do you think this fascinating concept is going to go over the coming years?
Well, there's two fundamental points to discuss on why it's important to understand what's going on, today, which is Bitcoin and blockchain. Bitcoin is the first and largest decentralized currency that currently exists. In fact, I used it today when purchasing some groceries in Jewel. And the other concept, and more importantly, is the concept of blockchain. Are the two fundamental concepts that we have to speak about today. Bitcoin is a phenomenal technology that, when combined with blockchain, can create efficiencies in ways that we hadn't seen before. For example, when purchasing a house, you have to have escrow services, and via Bitcoin, if you are able to show proof of, deed, you're able to transfer it without any intermediary.
Fascinating. So, what is the story behind blockchain, Bitcoin? Why is it necessary? Let me just sort of dumb it down.
Okay. So, on a normal transaction, you are going to the store. There is the payment processor. There is the person purchasing the good. There is the person you're buying the good from. There is the bank in between. In the original economies, when economies were first created, it was very difficult for people to keep track of these purchases. If, for example, the very first purchase was my bread for your jelly, and we wanted to keep track of that in the community, you'd have to have a person or a horse going from vendor to vendor, keeping track, and that was technologically very, very difficult. As we grow, and as a result of that, you had to have sort of a centralized system where you had someone you could trust, like a bank, where it would be secure, where they would be incentivized to keep very good records, taking fees, and they would keep track for everybody, and then they would be the person of record, which is basically what we have now. The issue with that is, and I'll give a Monopoly example, is if you're playing Monopoly and the banker can really skim $5 or $10 without anybody really knowing. But if you had a digital scoreboard for Monopoly, like at Wrigley Field, where you may not necessarily be able to see the names or understand the names of the teams, but you would see the numbers and the scores moving. There would be no way for a banker or any third party to alter the score without everybody noticing. So that is one of the major concepts of decentralization, of a decentralized ledger.
So it is so different than any other currency on so many levels. And I know our few-minute conversation won't do this topic justice. We're going to have you on, but in a moment I'm going to ask you to share some resources. There are so many differences right now in the U.S. dollar. So we have pennies, we have nickels, we have dimes, we have quarters, and so on. With cryptocurrency, it's not divisible in that same way, and it's as much or as little as the two parties that are agreeable to the currency set up for themselves. Is that right?
So that's actually not as accurate as you'd think. There is, just like in a dollar, there is a cent. In Bitcoin, there is something called a sat, or a Satoshi, which is named after the infamous founder, Satoshi Nakamoto, who no one knows where he is, to this day, in 2008. And a Bitcoin can be broken down by 8 different decimal places, and 0.0000001 would be 1 sat or 1 Satoshi, and a Bitcoin can be broken down all the way to that point.
Oh, my goodness, Dov, we're going to have to spend a lot more time on this. Oh, my goodness, I have so much more to learn. But cryptocurrency is something, and Bitcoin and blockchain is something that you believe business owners should learn more about?
Yes, absolutely. Just to give you some insight into more recent large-scale news, less than 2 weeks ago, the SEC came out, that's the Security and Exchange Commission, came out that Ethereum, which is the second largest of the cryptocurrencies, is actually not a security. One of the fears that there was that it would be labeled a security, and it's not, which just allows, more mainstream adoption, which is one of the many reasons that people should just be aware of what's going on around them.
Wow. So, Dov, we are running out of time, and I want to make sure that our listeners can learn more. Are there any specific websites that you would recommend to read up on the topic?
Yes, sure. Bitcoin.com is a great place to start. That's one of the places you can actually, buy Bitcoin, I believe. That's a really good one. CoinDesk is a good place to start. Also, CoinDesk.com.
That's fantastic, and I'll link to all of these sites through my website. Dov, I appreciate you coming on the show to talk about it. We need to spend more time on it. Really interesting topic. But again, thank you, Dov Snow, an expert on blockchain, cryptocurrency. We're going to be back with some more tips in just a moment. Chicago, don't touch that dial.